Hello, I'm here with Bella Rose and she's going to help demonstrate giving a bath. Now you know, most dogs don't really love getting baths, they tolerate it. Some dogs are very scared of getting baths. And for a dog like Bella, she was a breeder dog, so she hasn't actually had many baths in her life. So we want to make it a positive experience, something that's fun for her. So I love using these licky mat things. This one actually has a suction cup that you can put right on the bathtub. And but before you give the bath, don't just take this and put it in the bathtub and expect your dog to get in and start licking it. Maybe you want to acclimate them to the licky thing first. So you can just kind of get them used to licking it. Oh yes, I like this. Peanut butter. Say, it's okay, I might like squeezed cheese better. We have Bella Rose in the bathtub now. She did not want to lick the licky mat in the bathtub, so I just took it out. Because like I said, most dogs do not enjoy getting baths. So she's just has a little stress right now. So we're gonna try to do this as gentle and as easy as possible. So some things you can do to make the bath experience a little less stressful for your dog is when you start the hose, make sure you have it down and kind of in towards the back. So you can see she's a little nervous about the noise. So I'm just going to let it run a little bit. And then I'm going to start by putting the water low. Like, make sure your water is warm. It shouldn't be hot, it shouldn't be cold. You don't want to be using a cold hose outside. That's very scary for some dogs to get a cold bath. So I start with the hose low. Don't start the hose on the top of their head. That's also very scary. And then I just lightly go, just get her leg wet. I'm doing this very slowly. And then I'll start at the top, just getting her wet. And if I have to avoid doing the top of her head because she's nervous, I will avoid the top of her head and I can wash that with a wash rag. So I'm going to stop this now. No, Bella, you have to stay. And I will say, at this point, if your dog is trying to jump out of the tub, is very panicked, is trying to scramble or anything like that, you should just stop. You don't want the experience to be a horrible experience for them. Instead, you could take a bucket full of soapy water with a wash rag, and you can wipe them down with that. They do make some pet wipes. As far as pet wipes, I don't think it really cleans them that well. I think a wash rag works a lot better. You could even use the bucket to pour over to rinse once you wipe them down with the soapy rag. Something like that. So yes, so she's tolerating it, but I wouldn't call her extremely fearful of getting the bath. So the extremely fearful ones, you definitely want to do something different, an alternative method. So if your dog is nervous about getting a bath, maybe grab a friend, a neighbor, a family member, and just have them pet the dog, keep them happy. Maybe they could be feeding them something, some sort of good treat that they like. But you can see Bella is a little more relaxed. Don't worry if you splash water. I do it all the time, all over the floor. But you can tell she's a bit more relaxed now that she has Jess here. And we'll use our shampoo. I like to get a good lather going, really scrub them. Again, not just going over top like this with the shampoo. You want to make sure you're getting down to the skin. And then also being careful around what a dog considers their sensitive areas, like the rear hindquarters, the tail especially, the paws, even on top of the head or the ears sometimes. But Bella's being very good, very tolerant.
She is.
So when you rinse, I do start from the top. Now, at first I did just start low, again, just not to make her nervous, and then I brought the hose up to the top. And the main important thing is that you want to make sure you get all of the suds, the shampoo out. You want to make sure it all rinses out. If there's any shampoo residue left, sometimes it can cause skin irritations, hot spots, that kind of thing. It's okay. Yeah, you're okay. If you do wash around the ears, make sure you're not getting any water inside the ears. So if I were to get her head wet here, I would hold the ear down and just do a lightly like that. And I'm running my fingers through her fur to make sure I'm getting all the shampoo out. You can use conditioner if you want to, especially if they have dry skin or dry fur. You being a sweetie. Yes. And talk to your dog while you're doing it. Tell them they're being a good doggy. Now we're using a grooming tub here at DVGRR, which we're fortunate to have. But if you're using your bathtub at home or a shower, it might be a good idea to actually get inside the shower with them instead of trying to do it from the outside. Or if you're able to use warm water outside. We've actually used baby pools before where we filled up baby pools with warm water, and if the dog won't stand in it, you can at least use it as like a bucket to work from. So it looks like we got all the shampoo out of her fur. I'm just feeling again just to make sure. And then we use the towel. Again, if they're a very nervous dog, you don't want to go like this and like go over their head with it. Instead, just gently. And I like to, especially on doodles, I like to squeeze the fur instead of rub it, just to get the moisture out. And you're being such a good girl.
So good.
And we do find here that when rescue dogs come in very dirty and need a haircut, when we give them baths and give them a haircut, they seem so relieved and so much happier and just feel like a new dog. So then to do her face and the top of her head, I just got a wet washcloth. Now she does have some tear stains here. Sometimes those are really stubborn to get out. But I'm just gonna go over her face with a clean wash rag. I'm not gonna use any soap up here. I'm just gonna wipe her down. And we do use a little foaming. This is something that you don't have to rinse. We use it, it's called FaceTime. And we just put a little bit in our hands, and then you can put that on their face and just rub it in, kind of scrub it around a little bit, and then take your washcloth and Doesn't she look beautiful? You can also get in the folds. If they have any folds in their jowls, make sure to get that. And you can get the ear flaps with a washcloth, but don't go in the ear with the washcloth to make sure you don't get any water in there. And there you have it. So at your grooming salon, they might, instead of towel drying, they might blow dry your dog with a high velocity blow dryer. But you might have a hair dryer at home that you would use if your dog tolerates being blow dried. Some dogs are a little uncomfortable about it. For Bella, since she's just slightly nervous, I'm not going to try to blow dry her at all. I'm just going to try to towel dry her the best that I can. The benefits of blow drying are that you can get more undercoat out. Sometimes you might notice when you give them a bath, they start shedding more for a few days. With the blow dryer, you can blow all of that out. And now, an important thing to know is that if you're using your hair dryer at home, do not use the hot setting. Like you might, or even the warm might be too hot depending on your hair dryer for a dog. So you'd want to use a cool setting on the hair dryer because you don't want to burn the dog's skin. And also a dog's natural temperature is a lot higher than a human's temperature, so they can't tolerate heat as much as people can. So we've been talking about grooming your dog and keeping them maintained between grooming appointments, but let's talk a little bit about choosing a groomer and a groomer that's appropriate for your dog. So if you have a dog like Bella that's a little more on the shy side or fearful of the groomer, when you take the dog, it's, you know, most dogs are not going to be super excited to see the groomer. Some are very excited to see the groomer, but it's a very stressful situation for them. They're going there, they're leaving their owner, and then they have to get on a table where they stand, and there's loud noises, maybe other dogs barking, that kind of thing. So you really have to choose a groomer that you're comfortable with, that has a good personality, that's happy to see your dog, that asks you what you want done for that day, and will communicate well with you, and somebody that just seems very gentle and kind with your dog. Especially for a dog like Bella, you wouldn't want somebody who's going to handle her roughly or like be forcing her to do things that are very scary. We like grooming to be positive experiences for dogs, and even though it's not always a pleasant experience, to do the best that we can to have it as stress-free and as fear-free as possible. Again, if when choosing a groomer, there are some grooming salons that will ask you to drop your dog off at the beginning of the day and keep them for the full day because they have a system and they're working on dogs in a particular way. But it might not be appropriate for all dogs. So one like Bella or another dog that might, you know, have some fear at the groomer, or it's just a very stressful thing. Maybe you want to look for a groomer that just makes specific appointments that you can bring them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the grooming appointment they might only be there for like 2 hours and not have to be there all day. A lot of groomers also may allow the person to stay. Most of them don't allow the client to stay, but if your dog is a really, really fearful dog, then it might be a good idea for you to at least ask your groomer if you're allowed to stay to help the dog and just be there for support for your dog. Another possibility is that you could go and learn some grooming techniques yourself, like we taught you a little bit, and just try to do it on your own if your dog is really, really stressed about going to the groomer. There are also mobile pet groomers that have vehicles that can pull right up to your house, and that's a convenient option. They are typically more expensive, but you're paying for that service. And I know some people who have used them for their dogs and have had great experiences. Hi, I'm Heather again, and I'm at the sanctuary. Thank you so much for watching today, and don't forget to subscribe and share our YouTube channel.